There we go. We'll call the meeting to order. Shall we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item tonight is to recognize the retirement of Jim McCreary, our public works mechanic for 29 years. Mr. Walker.
Another retirement. But tonight we had the privilege of thanking Jim McCreary for 29 years of service to the township. And Jim was one of our mechanics, as Mr. Whiteside just mentioned, in public works for 29 years. But Jim did it all. Jim did snow plowing, paving, mechanics. The words that I think fit Jim perfectly are committed, dedicated, and dependable. It didn't matter what was happening, what was going on in Jim's life, personal life. If the township called, Jim came. He always answered the phone every snowstorm, whether it was a tree across the road, whether it was a traffic light out, whether it was a flood. Jim always picked up the phone. He knew the township was most likely going to need him and need help, and he made himself available. Again, whether it was 2 a.m. in the morning, whether there was something going on in Jim's life personally, he made himself available all the time. He was also, I believe, well-liked and respected by his coworkers. He was a good coworker, a good worker, very, as I said, dedicated and committed to the township, and helped the township through a lot. Helped the township through many snowstorms, floods, and he was never afraid to get his hands dirty. If there's something he was unsure of, he was always there. Let me try to fix it. Let me try to get in there. So, we will certainly miss Jim and thank him for a great run, 29 years. Him and I were talking about it last Friday, how time just marches on so fast. But it was a great run, and we appreciate we were fortunate enough to hire Jim and have him here for 29 years, and we will miss him. So Jim, again, as a manager, as a friend, thank you. Thank you for all that you did. Thanks for taking care of the township.
All right, Jim, I have a proclamation I'd like to read. Whereas it is with great pleasure that we recognize James McCreary for his 29 years of devotion and service to our community on the occasion of his retirement as a member of our Public Works team. And before Jim's career with Horsham Township, he was a service writer for a local vehicle dealer, and thus Jim's mechanical knowledge was a crucial part of Horsham Township's fleet management operations. And whereas, whether it was long cold nights clearing snow-covered streets, putting down asphalt in the hot summer afternoons, or repairing or maintaining the fleet, Jim constantly brought a positive attitude and worked many dedicated hours to provide excellent service to the residents of Horsham Township. Whereas his years of service bring great credit to himself and his family, Jim McCreary has forever left a favorable impression on those who have had the pleasure of working with him. Jim has been committed through his work for the Public Works Department to making Horsham Township a better place for all to live, work, and play. And whereas we thank James McCreary for his reliability to the organization and applaud him for his dedicated service to our community. On the occasion of his retirement, we extend to Jim our best wishes for success in all his future endeavors. If you would like to make any comments, that'd be great.
You got to come up to the mic. It's being recorded, so sorry, Jim.
I'd like to thank Horsham Township I work with great people, just outstanding. We had a lot of fun. I wouldn't say I didn't have a bad day, but I had better days than none. I'd like to thank Bill Peisch for taking a shot at me. Thank you, Bill. And it's been a good run. You forgot the dead horse that we got the call for. That was probably the worst, right, Dave? That was the worst call I ever had, dead horse, middle of the night. It was good. I mean, you know, one of the first tasks I had was helping build the bridge in Kohler Park. I'm like, I come home from war, my wife was, what are you doing? We're building the bridge. You're building the bridge. Got the thing built. I'm like, how are they gonna move this thing? And these guys came in with chains and loaders, and next thing you know, it's in the park, and I'm like, holy Toledo. So I learned a lot. Like to thank the township again. Like to thank my wife. A lot of nights, you're not home. So, you know, you come home, you're miserable. And she's like, here, what do you want to eat? Here, I got this for you, that for you. So thank you, hon. Appreciate it. And it's been a good run, and thank you.
All right, don't go anywhere, Jim.
All right, you want to come on back up? We'll do some pictures now.
To the end, baby.
Sorry, Bill.
Thank you.
Our next item this evening is a report on Horsham Day. Dennis?
Thank you. As you know, I could probably talk all day and all night about Horsham Day. It's the greatest day of the year, but I'm going to keep it short. Just want to thank some people, specifically Kyle Lynch and Courtney Pellegrino, who's on the Horsham Day team, I guess you could say. They've been a great part. I know Courtney came in halfway, but she really did help us out a lot. Our Public Works Department, getting the parks ready for the whole event, all of the parks in the area, the Police Department, the Fire Company, all the volunteers that helped us out throughout the day. It's so much appreciated. It was a fantastic day for all of our residents, for all of the guests from outside of town that came, and just for our community in general. And the logo this year said Connect, Eat, Play, Dance. And I just want to thank everybody that came to connect and eat, play, and dance. And I think we did that and had a great time. So it was a great Horsham Day. I know Bill likes to say that we start in January, but we're starting a little bit earlier this year, planning for next year. So we've already had some meetings for next year. So very excited, very happy that the day went smooth. It was great. It was a great day. The weather was perfect, and super excited. So can't wait to see you next year, first Saturday in June.
And just as a quick follow-up, a big thank you to Dennis Haggerty. It is a huge, huge undertaking. No one realizes how much logistics and how much planning goes in behind it. And yes, I usually say January, but it truly becomes a 12-month project. And Dennis is the lead. Everyone there, he has an army of volunteers, but Dennis is the lead. It takes one person to make everything happen and get everything organized and coordinated, even for the volunteers. So a big thank you to Dennis for pulling it together. It was a great day, as Dennis said. And you know what's really neat? Many of us grew up here, and Horsham Day's been going since the 1960s. But when you see a family that, well, I'm showing my age now, but when I did Parks and Rec, and those kids were little guys in the youth sports, and the parents were coaching and doing their thing. And then you see the parents never moved out of Horsham. The children grew up and moved out of Horsham. But at Horsham Day, you see the parents, the children, and the grandchildren. You see 3 generations that it's that important to them to come back and visit Horsham Day, see the community, see the businesses, see the restaurants and the civic organizations and all the events and activities we have. So after all these decades, it's still a true community day. And that's what is, I think, is special about the day and makes our community very special, that you see so many families return and children and grandchildren return for the day. It's pretty cool. And we had, we were estimating between, just on the daytime alone, between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., 10,000 people come through. And they're spread out between 3 parks, as council knows, so they're not all shoved into one park, so it spreads the people out. But it was very well attended, and that goes to a lot of the credit of Dennis and his team of workers and volunteers that make it look so simple to us all. So, again, thank you, Dennis, for all you did.
I would agree. This was exceptional. Thank you, Dennis, to you and your staff. All right, next item would be opportunity for questions and comments from the public. Do we have any questions or comments from anyone? All right, next item would be approval of the list of checks. Do we have a report on that, or just the motion for?
It's just your normal, yeah.
I move to approve the list of checks in all funds in the amount of $274,029.48, and further move to authorize payment of same.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next is to consider the following subdivision and land development plans. Watts LLC, 1307 Squire Drive, 24-04-S, preliminary final approval. Mary, do we have documents for this?
We do not. I would recommend that you table this matter until the next meeting.
All right, do we have a motion to table this?
A motion to table?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
What about Spectacon, Cedar Hill Road?
We also do not have agreements for those, and the applicant specifically asked to be withdrawn from the agenda.
All right, so do we have a motion to table this one?
I motion to table the resolution.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All righty, the ayes have it. We need to review zoning board applications for July. Mary Boyle Weber and Patrick Boyle, 1051 and 1053 West County Line Road.
Yes, this is a residential application on County Line Road. Is the applicant here this evening? Boyles and Webbers? Okay. So if I get anything wrong, just stop me and let me know. So this is, let me get my pointer here working. There we go. So County Line Road's here. There's a house here, and there's a house in the back. Currently, right now, this is the property line. It's a flag lot for the rear house back here, and then the front. Then this is all for the house on the front of County Line Road. The family, both owners would like to do a lot line change and move the lot line change here, and that would put the reason why is. I guess this garage here was built and used and owned by the rear property owner because they were related, right? The families were related in the past. So both property owners didn't care because they were related and relatives. But now I'm assuming you're looking to sell the front maybe in the future. And in order to do that, they would like to keep the garage to this property. So they want to do this lot line change. By doing the proposed lot line change, or in order to submit an application to do the lot line change, they need 2 variances. It would put sorry, my pointer's not working for me. There we go. It would put the garage in the front yard. This is a flag lot, so this is the front yard. And it would put this existing structure in the front yard of this home. Also, the structure is 21 feet, and our ordinance allows 14 feet. So they need 2 variances to allow this structure to be in the front yard, and also it's already existing, but to have it legal with a variance at 21 feet. And if they get those 2 variances from the zoning hearing board, then they will be submitting their lot line change plan to the township to move the lot line change there. So those are the 2 variances they need. That is why they're in front of you this evening. Did you want to add anything to that?
I don't think so. We have Tim Woodrow and Associates. They're the ones who helped us file all this. And think you're supposed to meet us tonight or something. But I don't know. Other than that,
Mr. Walker, does staff have a recommendation?
We recommend neutral. What we normally recommend that council do for a detached garage, we recommend that you recommend conditions to the zoning hearing board that the garage cannot be used for a business and cannot have an apartment. Those are historically two conditions that you always recommend to the zoning hearing board on detached garages.
Well, it was my dad's. My dad built that barn, and it was a barn.
it
And,
had horses, but now it holds a car.
Yeah.
Okay.
it was a car.
Yep.
That's it.
And I just don't want to lose my dad's barn.
Understood, yep.
Is everybody okay?
Yep.
All right, well then, I think we could be good with that, and Mary will write something up too.
I will. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So your next trip is to the zoning hearing board in July.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So we're approved tonight for the,
No, you're not approved. Your council.
It means that we'll be neutral at the zoning hearing board meeting, we won't go into closing.
Okay.
The zoning hearing board is the only group that can approve your variances.
Okay, good luck, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Right, next is Triple Net Investments, 853 County Line Road.
These are the I call them the warehouse project on County Line Road out at Titus and County Line. When they were in front of council for zoning hearing board, council recommended a number of conditions for the application, and one of the conditions which the zoning hearing board did accept, that there shall be no less than truckload shipments to or from the site. And that condition went on the decision in order for the application. Since they've received land development approval, they've been marketing their property, and there's been some uncertainty and confusion about that quote. The way we looked at it at the staff level, that it was trying to prevent a truck terminal from being at the location. So, and I know the counsel for the applicants here, Greg Davis, they asked us to think of, could we think of any new language? So myself and the staff took it as an opportunity to sort of what we consider strengthening the language. You'll see it up there, what the new proposed language is to take the place of this old language. So that's simply what their application is all about. They accepted this new language that the staff recommended. So they're in front of you tonight to answer any questions you have and see if you would be neutral to this new language, and then they go in front of the zoning hearing board in July. Then they would be back to you because as part of their land development approval and agreement to accept conditions for their land development, they have to follow by all the zoning hearing board conditions, and now that has to be updated too. So, Mr. Davis.
Mr. Walker, thank you. Greg Davis with the Saul Ewing Law Firm for the applicant. As Bill mentioned, we think this language strengthens and better protects the township than the existing language. What had happened was, I guess this went through the zoning hearing board. We received, at the time, TripleNet didn't think anything of the language. They just blindly accepted the language. And later, when they went to market the site, learned that there was some hesitancy to lease the site because no one really understood what the language meant. What does it mean? How's it going to be interpreted? How will it be enforced? Will it be enforced? So we are more than comfortable with the language proposed by staff, and happy to answer any questions that you might have for me tonight. And what does council normally do? Would you normally stay neutral like you did with the
Yes.
prior application? Okay.
Yep.
So you won't take a position in favor of, you'll just stay neutral?
Correct.
Okay.
But I think everybody here likes the language and is in agreement with your position that says it's strengthened. So as long as it helps you, help the marketing, let's do that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Bill.
Right, next we are going to review a waiver of land development from the Hatboro Horsham School District, Jarrett Nature Center, to construct a pavilion. Mr. Walker.
Everyone's familiar with the Jarrett Nature Center at Hatboro Horsham. It's between Simmons Elementary School and the high school. I think it's a treasure of not only the school district but of the community. We've historically have assisted the school district in many ways with the Nature Center to sustain itself, and they are in front of us tonight. They're looking to construct a 30 by 30 pavilion at the Nature Center, and Mr. Bill Stone is here, Director of Business Affairs with Hatboro Horsham School District, to explain more about the pavilion and the use of the pavilion. As you can see by the plans, it is outside the floodplain, so that it's not going in the floodplain. So they are seeking a waiver of land development to proceed with the construction of the pavilion as soon as possible, maybe before the school year starts next year. So, Mr. Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Good evening, councilors, Township administration, members of the Horsham community. I am proud to represent the school district this evening to talk about the Jarrett Nature Center. We believe it is the only nature center on school district property in Montgomery County, so it really is, to steal Mr. Walker's term, a treasure for our students. And we are very excited about the opportunity to be able to construct this pavilion to help improve that facility. Mr. Walker points out that the structure is located outside the floodplain. We've worked with our civil engineer to ensure that that is the case. The structure is going to be made of wood. The surface underneath the pavilion will remain pervious. We are not doing any paving, or the only improvement we might make would be natural mulch. So there's no disturbance other than the footers that will need to be poured to support the structure. Mr. Walker mentioned the dimensions. It's going actually over an existing outdoor classroom area that has some benches, but it's simply not covered. So when the students are at the Nature Center, they can be exposed to the heat, or if there's a light drizzle. So this will just further improve the opportunities for the students, give us the option to not have to necessarily postpone if it's an exceptionally hot or drizzly day. The students can still go. And we do think that this will help to beautify the grounds and just continue to improve that facility overall. We've presented a permit and the plans to Township staff. We've received a letter from the Township's engineer dated June 20th, I believe. Yep, June 20th. The district intends to comply with the comments that are noted in the letter, and we are requesting a waiver from your saldo requirements for preliminary and final land development approval. I'd be happy to take any questions that you might have.
Do they have any questions on this one? The structure isn't near any roads or any other properties or anything? Kind of in the middle, right?
It's right. It's just
Basically surrounded by.
Yeah, it's just to the inside of the Jarrett Nature Center as you come in towards the pond. The closest structure is our operations facility where our maintenance department works out of, but no homes. It's pretty centrally located on the high school Simmons campus.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. I know Ellen has a question.
Will the pavilion have tables, and how many students will it be able to accommodate under the pavilion?
I do not believe we're going to, we don't have any imminent plans to put tables in, but we do have the benches that are already there.
The same benches that are currently there?
The same benches that are currently there, yes.
Okay.
I'm afraid I do not know how many students that it can accommodate right now.
I've got a picture of what that looks like currently.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
I was just going to mention that if council, I did not talk to Mr. Stone about this, but I was just going to put it out there that they have very time constraints because they have to get things done before the school year. So they only have a couple months to get everything done that they need to get done before the start of the school year. Just like you did for Mr. Baraccia at 521 Horsham Road, instead of making them wait to your next meeting for a resolution, you went ahead and voted for it. And Mary just drafted a letter that gave them waiver of land development so they can get moving with ordering it, whatever they had to do with the contractor and get things going so it's up by September. Just wanted to
That would be much appreciated. Thank you.
So you just answered my next question, but tell me what that means. What do we have to do here tonight, Mary?
You need to make a motion to approve the waiver of land development, subject to compliance with the conditions set forth in the letter of the township engineer dated June 20th, 2024. And then I probably would add to that you need to,
Say the motion that she just
that the applicant needs to pay the costs and expenses incurred by the township as part of this project. So the conditions are approve the waiver of land development conditioned on the recommendations set forth in the June 20th, 2024 letter of Gilmore and Associates, and further conditioned upon the applicant agreeing to pay the cost of the township.
Okay, Sam, you're on.
Okay. Oh, you got it, Ellen? Go for it.
So moved works.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you. I would, on behalf of the district, I would like to thank the council for their support of the Jarrett Nature Center. It really is an important part of our school district, and as Mr.
Great
Walker
spot.
noted-
We all agree that. So
Yeah.
thank you.
It's the highlight of, I think, my son. Certainly, I think most of the children there's, days when they get to go there. So, yeah.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Bill. Have a good night.
All right, next is our review of Nicholas Braccia, 1250 Easton Road, 2311D.
And the applicant's here, and you can all, whoever's presenting and answering questions can come on up to the front tables. But this project, I know at least some members of council are familiar with. This is 1250 Easton Road, where the hoops play. And let me get there we go. So Easton Road is here. There's one large building here. Dunkin' Donuts is out front. Originally, this location here, where they're proposing this building here currently, it was going to be a daycare center. That never came to fruition. So they are in front of you this evening, and they would like to construct a building, this building here, and it would house, I guess, 4 or 5 pickleball courts. And they are here to present their plans to you this evening. Make sure your mics are on. It's just, yep. There you go. You got it?
Nick Rose from Protract Engineering. I am the civil engineer for the applicant, both in the original submission and the current one. I want to just go down the line and see.
Douglas Butari. I work with KDT Architects. We were the design team. I am the junior designer.
Joel Block. I'm going to be the owner of Bucksmont Pickleball Club.
Bill Kershaw, project manager.
So, just a very brief bit of background. I think Bill gave you most of it there, but it was originally approved as a daycare, as he noted, and they actually would like to just substitute the exact same size building, only make it a pickleball court. So the parking stays generally the same there. Almost all the rest of the site is already built. The waivers stay the same. The zoning approval stays the same. In fact, we've come in to see the staff to see if we should file as an amended land development or a new land development, and the recommendation was to come in as a new land development. So we did that. And we have been through reviews from, okay, thanks. We have been through reviews from the engineer once, who went to see your planning commission for preliminary approval, which was granted subject to those review letters. So we then revised the plan based on those letters and resubmitted, went back to your planning commission, where we received the recommendation for final approval, which was just recently, a few weeks ago. At that point, they routed us on to see you. So we are here tonight to see if there are any questions from council regarding what is proposed. The latest review letters, originally, there were 3 of them, 3 from Gilmore. 2 were consolidated together, and we have no issue with the items in there. There will comply, it's down to sort of just minor notes and details, and then the waiver requests that we are requesting. So we have no issue with the review comments. I believe the fire marshal has reviewed it and said they are in support of it. We have no issue with it. So that's all I have as far as an introduction.
Nick, two questions real quick. That just to confirm, I heard from the planning commission that you folks at the planning commission, you agreed to install a sidewalk.
There was a discussion about whether there should be a sidewalk along Route 611 that was originally waived as part of the original development. And from my understanding, there's, I guess, a current debate about where or when that might be built, or whether there's going to be other improvements along 611. So to some degree, I think they deferred us to council, but it was discussed at the planning commission. And I think we did say if you want us to build it, we will. If you want us to provide money for future building, if you don't know exactly where it should go right now, that's fine as well.
And the second item was in the back, you have future reserved parking. And I was told that at the planning commission, you said you would finish that lot and pave it and make it a parking lot.
Okay. I'm not sure we said that. I know that was discussed.
What we're gonna do, we're gonna take the dirt that's piled there, and we're gonna use it. We're gonna take the material that's piled there now, and we're gonna use that to build the floor level up. And then when we do that, we're gonna clean and grade and stone that lot ready for pave.
So right now, there's no demand for parking back there. There's no demand for parking on the site. There's plenty of parking. So they didn't want to just pave it just to pave it and add more impervious surface. So it was discussed. I don't remember.
I mean, we'll pave it.
Yeah,
No big deal.
I would just, then that ends the discussion. I think that'll be a
We'll
staff
all ready to pave, and
recommendation.
you wanna pave,
Okay,
pave it.
all right, good enough.
Bill, do we know what or where on the sidewalk? Apparently.
No, I would suggest, it's cheaper for them to put in a sidewalk than pay our fee in lieu of a sidewalk. And I've been asked that question before, we're not gonna know what the plan is for 611 until late 2025, early 2026. And just the way timing goes with the Navy base and everything else, we're probably at least 10 years out from doing anything on 611. So I would just put the sidewalk in.
Okay.
Or recommend council to put the sidewalk in.
It's under the impression that, okay, so you'll come up with the specs, or Eric will come up with specs on where it needs to go currently?
I think it's included in the Montgomery County Planning Commission under review comments, riparian corridor conservation district, that talks about the proposed sidewalk there. Is that accurate?
I think we're at a more finite detail
Got it.
than that at this point. It's physically where to put it, and
You'll come up with the location,
we
correct?
can work with the applicant to figure out the best spot that, fingers crossed, works for 2 years from now when they get done the planning of it, but yeah.
And for your benefit, there's, a new neighborhood right there pretty adjacent to the site, and that sidewalk could connect them as pedestrians, even though it is along 611 to your facility.
Made a comment about waivers. There were 5 waivers in here that were previously granted. Eric, do you have comments on that? Is there anything new?
You guys didn't prepare an actual waiver request letter, did you?
We don't have a letter. The waivers are listed in note 12 on sheet 1, and then the additional waivers of landscaping items are listed in note 13 on sheet 1.
Yeah, and so I guess, Bill Whiteside, to answer your question, the ones that were granted previously, we would be fine with the exception of the discussion we just had about the sidewalk along 611.
Okay. But if there's anything new, we can't review it right now. Is that true or not?
You're talking about new waivers? The new waivers all have to do with landscaping. It's because it was originally already approved with a full landscaping plan and everything, and most of it has already been built. So some of the requirements are redundant to, showing a whole bunch of information on the plan that has already been built. So I think the Gilmore letter actually says, you either need to do this or just request a waiver. And that's
Yeah,
what
but
we're doing.
council reviews the waivers, so which waivers are you requesting?
They are all from section 138-39, subsections C, D, and E. And I believe in the Gilmore letter, they are items, let's see here.
You sure, is it 19839?
Sorry, yes, sorry, I don't know what I said, yes, 19839. So they're under the subdivision and land development ordinance section, and they are items 2, 3, and then 5 through 11 in the Gilmore letter.
All right, so I guess we need to go through this. Are there more waivers besides what you just noted here?
No, the original ones and then this list.
So the first one requires a provision of a tree survey plan showing the location of all existing live trees. What are you looking for there for a waiver?
Yeah, but that's because they've already either all been built and are already located on the plan. So it would be redundant to show them all over again.
Well, aren't, like, looking at it another way, haven't you already complied with it?
Yes.
So that's not a waiver, it's a acknowledgement of, like.
Yeah, it could be.
This is listed here for preliminary final approval. We
Right.
can't give you an approval until we know what waivers you need that you haven't already complied with. That's the point.
And our point is we need to see them on a plan so we can confirm they were complied with. They don't want to show all the trees they've already planted.
To clarify, 2, 3, 5 through 11, those are ones that you have already done, or those are the ones you would still need a waiver for?
No, that's what we're going,
Okay.
we're doing that
Talking about.
one by one. And what Eric's saying, like, I don't have to repeat what Eric.
Go ahead, actually.
Eric's saying that you may have already planted them, but you're not showing that they're planted on the plan. And they have to be shown on the plan.
Okay. We can go back and show them all. We can do that.
But that's not a waiver, you're going to amend the plan to show the trees.
Yes, we can do that.
And the next one?
Next one is similar, number 3, the section requires preliminary landscape plan including locations of all freestanding trees and existing woodlands. Again,
You're going to amend the plan to show that.
we can amend the plan to show that. And then 4 is not a waiver, that's a cost estimate.
That it's 5 to what?
5 through 11. So 5 is just talking about trees within 25 feet of the construction to be protected. Again, we can show that, that's fine.
Are there trees near the site? Like, will trees need to be removed, or?
Actually, not near this construction, they're in other places on the site for the most part.
So then would they even need a wait?
They don't need a waiver, they need to show compliance.
So yeah,
Mary and Eric, in your mind, can we get through this and get answers on these questions tonight? Or do they need to update the plans and give us a fresh waiver request if there are any new?
If they're not going to ask for a waiver from these sections and they're going to say, well, comply, I think you can act on it tonight.
So all of these sections, Nick, are all of these sections ones that you can show on the plan and get, and
I'm just quick reading through them. Yes, we can comply with those
all right,
and get them to Eric's
so all
office.
of these are will comply.
All of these items are will comply items and you'll update the plan to note that.
Correct.
Eric, is there anything else that we need to cover on this then?
I don't.
I mean, what you're saying makes sense, but it's just out of whack, so we have to sort through.
I
this
hear
and
you,
get it
yes.
right.
And if it clarifies it, we'll just add it all to the plan and withdraw the requests for those waivers.
You can't withdraw the request. You're either asking for them tonight or you're not asking for them tonight.
Sorry, that's what I mean, we're not asking for them.
No, will comply means that they will comply with the section instead of having you excused from it, right? And that includes 11, correct, with the Minimum 8-foot, 2.5-inch caliber trees.
Correct, that was the last one of the list.
So if council would like, I can prepare a resolution accordingly.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's no new waivers being requested. They want the same ones from before, with the exception that you're not waiving the sidewalk along 611 this time.
Yes.
That's how, what our.
Say that again.
And the parking lot.
And the park.
So you'll include that, Mary?
I will.
Just two things. So council has in their packets, this is what the building's proposed, this is the rendering. So it looks better than what it looks on the screen in your packets. It just doesn't come across that well. Can you talk, this is the side that will face 611 and the Dunkin' Donuts, is that correct?
No.
No?
That will face 1250 building.
That, well, yeah, but the white fence, that side will face Dunkin' Donuts.
Renaissance Tile is right here.
Yep,
This is Dunkin' Donuts.
yep. And what is the blue material? It looks like the navy blue,
That's metal siding,
metal siding.
vertical metal siding.
And then you have the beige brick.
Right. That's insulated brick for energy efficiency.
Can you, I forget your name.
Joel.
Joel. So Joel, you're going to be the owner of the pickleball
Facility.
facility.
I'll be the tenant.
But you'll be the tenant. Could you, just out of curiosity, it has nothing to do with land development, but how's your operation going to operate? How's this pickleball going to operate?
There's going to be 5 courts. I think I'm on there. There's going to be 5 courts. I'm going to have every age from really young, because I believe kids are a great place to start playing pickleball, all the way up to old seniors and everything in between. We're going to be some contract court time. There'll be socials, lessons, and things like that. Some of the time is an hour worth of court time, some is an hour and a half, some is 2 hours. So things get staggered depending on time of day and the type of events that are going to be going on.
And you're going to have 5 courts. This is going to be like, of course, restrooms, but office, storage?
Yeah, there's going to be a small office, bathrooms that are ADA compliant with changing rooms so that somebody has room to get in there and change rather than try to change in a stall. Going to be very customer friendly. Obviously, I'm kind of part of the township already because I ran Horsham Township Day, the inflatables, for 10 years in a row with Party Magic, if anybody remembers.
Yeah.
That was me. So I put a lot of time in, and I've met an awful lot of residents over the years here.
And you're going to have, you said socials, is that like birthday parties?
No, well, not so much birthday. Socials where different groups of similar caliber play. We'll play together.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. And is it like a 7-day a week?
Yeah, 7 days a week.
Okay.
Long day, long hours, long days. People want to play at 5 o'clock in the morning. Some want to play at 10 o'clock at night. So it'll be open a lot of the time.
So you're going to have an employee there, or people just swipe a card and walk in?
I'm absolutely going to have employees there. I will be there quite a bit, especially when I open. It's not a heavy employee-based type business. Thank God there's no trucks and drivers or any of that type of stuff either. As far as employees, 1, maybe 2. If I'm there, I really don't need an employer. I need somebody part-time there. So it's really software-driven. If it's later during the hour, they will have the ability to get into the building with the card swipe and given a code once they book a court and paid for it.
And so it'll be open to the general public, but it's like a private club?
General public will have to pay for a guest fee, where
Okay.
members will not have to pay for a guest fee, and they'll have the benefits of being able to book a court with more time to spare, where guests may only be able to book a court 2 or 3 days in advance.
Okay. And if all 5 courts are being used plus staff, how many people are in the building at?
4 per court.
Okay.
20 courts, 1 person, 21, 22.
Okay.
Again, we stagger because of the type of play that goes on there.
Any signage?
I've been told I'm going to have the sign underneath the Dunkin' Donuts. So
Out front
I'll have a
along
sign right
611?
there.
Okay, yeah.
Once,
Work out all the square footage.
Okay.
What's that?
We just got to get it all worked out.
There's a blank spot there for me already.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully, once I get that final permit, I will be able to put something up, letting you know, coming hopefully winter or early 2025, Bucksmont Pickleball Club, looking to service the community.
You talked about exterior lighting. You guys have
Yeah,
any?
there's wall packs on the building on each side to illuminate the whole building. And then there's a couple of, I think there's 2 parking lot lights that are on the site plan. Nick, you got a copy there?
I don't know if I have them. No, I don't have the lighting.
I don't have the lighting plan right here, but everything's well lit.
Is the lighting going to affect that residential area that's being built somewhat adjacent?
Cutback lighting.
Okay. And does Bucksmont already operate, or is this a new operation entirely?
Totally new operation.
I know from people in the pickleball community, it's definitely needed, so I'm sure there are folks excited about
I
it.
sure hope so.
And are you already involved with Horsham Pickleball Club at all?
No, I'm not, although I have played with a lot of the different clubs, in the area, kind of getting my name out there a little bit. But I have yet to play over in Horsham.
Okay.
I look forward to it, though.
Sure, sure.
I hear you have quite a few members.
I guess just one more thing, Mr. Whiteside. So Mary, when we do the resolution agreement to accept conditions, if the use in the future, if pickleball goes away, the use, any change of use that goes in this building, they would have to come before us.
Your concern is that if this goes to like a soccer facility where there's 11 kids on a team, the parking wouldn't be sufficient, that it would have to come back and be reviewed?
That's an example, yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Is there versatility for the space for other indoor athletic activities? Is it permitted?
Well, I don't want it because I'm already going to be painting the courts onto
Sure.
the surface, and I'm really not looking for people to be playing basketball or volleyball or kickball or anything on there except for pickleball.
Got it. Are the nets installed permanently in the spaces?
No, they're not. I'm actually going to have mobile nets
Okay.
that will allow me to maneuver if I see an opportunity.
Sure.
Potentially wheelchair play in particular kind of comes to mind because they need more space. So different things do come to mind a little bit, but it is
Right.
flexible space.
You had mentioned birthday parties. Is the zone,
I
is this, not you,
Yeah,
sorry.
okay.
Yeah. Is the space zoned for events, or is that not a permitted use?
Well, birthday parties, if they could have it, yes, they could have it.
Other events?
No, no, not without council's approval.
Okay.
It's not a convention center
No,
or
I'm not
hall
trying
or
to
anything
do
like
any of
that.
that,
Yeah,
no.
you're approving a pickleball facility.
Got it. Thank you.
If there's nothing else, then we'll move on to the next item.
Thank you.
Mary, you'll take care of that, so
I
we're
will.
ready.
And Nick, I'll send you the resolution and the agreement to get signed.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of this. This is the first thing seeing it. Thank you. I look forward to everybody playing pickleball. And if you don't know how to play, I'm looking for beginners. And they're going to learn, and you're going to get good. And it takes 30 minutes to learn how to play. And it's social, and it's fun. And that was what I was looking for, was something fun to do. And I really hope I see people, everybody, all ages out there, because I'm definitely no kid anymore either. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next is to consider an amendment to the contract agreement with All Rose LLC for right-of-way acquisition services for Horsham Road and
Limekiln Pike intersection improvement project.
As you know, Alrose is our right-of-way consultant, and they're doing the right-of-way acquisition for the project at Horsham Road and Limekiln Pike. It has gone a little longer. It's taking us a little longer to get all the right-of-way acquired, so they're beyond their dollar amount. So in your packets tonight, there's a proposal letter, a supplemental request letter dated May 29th. And they think that with where we're at now with right-of-way acquisition, that the addition of $30,062.12 will suffice in them getting this right-of-way acquisition completed. It's no fault of theirs, it's just taking longer negotiating with the property owners to settle rather than condemn properties. This amount, all of Alro's fees are through a grant application, so we have a grant that's reimbursing us for their services.
Anybody have any questions? If not, do we have a motion?
I move to authorize amending the agreement with All Rose LLC as per the dated letter, May 29th, 2024, for right-of-way acquisition services for the Horsham Road and Limekiln Pike intersection improvement project.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next is to consider a co-applicant agreement for a highway occupancy permit for stormwater facilities as part of the PSI Atlantic Horsham PA LLC, 901 Horsham Road, 2210D Land Development Plan.
This is something you normally see on projects that are developed along state-owned highways, and it puts the maintenance of the stormwater system back on the developer. So the next two agenda items, the co-applicant agreement and the resolution authorizing the application for a permit, are both related to the self-storage facility at 901 Horsham Road for them to, with their land development, to tie into the state PennDOT stormwater system on Horsham Road.
Anybody have any questions? If not, do we have a motion?
I just have like a broad question.
Is this the one that's by the high school?
Bill Joseph's Catering.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I haven't heard anything about it in a while. So
They've been moving very slow,
Oh, okay.
but they're still moving forward.
Okay.
I move to authorize the co-applicant agreement for highway occupancy permit for stormwater facilities as part of the PSI Atlantic Horsham PA LLC, 901 Horsham Road, 22-10-D Land Development Plan. Should I do both?
Do we have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next is to consider a resolution authorizing the application for a highway occupancy permit for stormwater facilities as part of the PSI Atlantic Horsham PA LLC, 901 Horsham Road, 2211D Land Development Plan.
Move to adopt the resolution as proposed, authorizing the application for a highway occupancy permit for stormwater facilities as part of the PSI Atlantic Horsham LLC, 901 Horsham Road, 22-10-D Land Development Plan.
Roll call vote, Mr. Walker. I'm sorry, do we have a second?
Second.
Now it's a roll call vote.
Ms. Harmon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Slaff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Wade, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Chunky, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next is to consider introducing an ordinance authorizing the grant of an easement on the township-owned properties to PennDOT to facilitate the Horsham Road Limekiln Pike
Intersection improvement.
This is, we're just introducing an ordinance tonight, and the next agenda item is establishing the public hearing for same. So at the public hearing, we'll have some maps up on the screen and explain exact locations. But this is simply the township providing its right-of-way on our properties for the Limekiln Pike Horsham Road intersection project. So there's 2 detention basins that have to be constructed for the project, as well as frontage along our township building here and our police station here that's part of the project. So by our home rule charter, we can only give property and give easements to others such as PennDOT through an ordinance. So that's why we had to do it by ordinance. So tonight, you're just introducing that ordinance and scheduling the public hearing for us to present those properties to you.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move to introduce the ordinance as proposed, authorizing the grant of an easement on the township-owned properties to PennDOT to facilitate the Horsham Road and Limekiln Pike intersection improvement.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call vote.
Ms. Harmon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Laff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Wade, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Chunky, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next is to consider a resolution establishing a time and place for a public hearing on granting an easement on township-owned properties on PennDOT to facilitate the Horsham Road Limekiln Pike intersection improvement. Monday, July 22nd, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the Horsham Township Municipal Building, 1025 Horsham Road. Do we have a motion?
I move to adopt the resolution as proposed, establishing a time and place for a public hearing on an ordinance authorizing the grant of an easement on the township-owned properties to PennDOT to facilitate the Horsham Road and Limekiln Pike intersection improvement, Monday, July 22nd, 2024, at 7 o'clock p.m. in the Horsham Township Building.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call vote.
Ms. Harmon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Laff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Wade, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Chunky, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Being no further business, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Second. Meeting adjourned.
Aye.